Okay, this will be a funny one in my mind. I'll show it to you folks. I'll just get it organised, the photocopier first, and we'll see what we're going to do with this funny one. I know it's not considered normally funny because the people who deal with this person don't expect him to be the way that he was, from what history books have told. I'm actually wondering, yeah, I was thinking we're going to do it as a negative image, but we're going to do it as a positive. But basically, people don't know much about this character. They only see the side of him that is commonly presented, even though I don't know if these people realise this quirky bit of history, but basically they worship him and he's really well respected, but there is a part of him that's not so well respected that a lot of people are ignorant about. And here it is. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the Sydney Mozart Society. So this is what we're photocopying, this picture. Well, it's been said that Mozart was not just a great composer and all that shit. Sure, he was. But he basically had a side to him that was a little bit mischievous, a little bit uncouth. Well, his uncouth and mischievous humour was basically what's scientifically called scatological humour, or in other words, toilet humour. He had a penchant for toilet humour, like he wrote letters to certain relatives telling them to lick his ass and lick it clean. And basically, he just had this propensity for toilet humour, you know, and basically that's just not recognised in the mainstream. I could be wrong, but basically it's not a very flattering thing for a composer to be recognised as, but basically apparently it's true, you know. You wouldn't think it was true. You wouldn't want to believe it's true if you're one of Mozart's followers. You know, if you're a real highly conservative classical buff, or music, or should I say orchestral buff, well, basically you don't want to know about this shit. Pardon my pun, shit. But basically, yeah, but it's real. It happened. Apparently, that's what I read. That's what I saw on YouTube. But it wasn't just on YouTube. I'm trying to think where I found this piece of info. It was on the internet. But basically, yeah, I'm amazed. It's amazing to think that someone with such talent would resort in such dirty, filthy humour. But basically, yeah, that looks shithouse. But basically, he did. He was an absolute scatological creature in some respects. So there goes the conservative image of this composer. I'm sorry, folks, if I've bloody, what's the word? Put a hole in your fucking balloon. No, what's the word? Whatever. Fuck. But basically, yeah, people, obviously, yes, he was famous for his composing. He was a brilliant composer, folks. Don't get me wrong. But it's just that he was, and he did have a propensity for scat humour, or scatological humour. So, but I find it funny because I find scat humour very funny. I do find toilet humour very funny, so I find this appealing. I'm not a conservative, stiff-lipped sort of person. I'm not a person who's traditionalist, in other words, or conservative. But basically, that's probably why I don't have a problem with Mozart's alleged toilet humour. I don't have any problem with it, folks. I find it amusing. You know, it actually enhances the value of this composer, in my opinion. It does. It actually enhances the value. It makes him into something hysterically funny. It really is fucking funny. To think that a composer like this could resort to this kind of humour. But, you know, you learn a new thing every day, folks. Wondering what I'm trying to do with this stupid thing. But basically, yeah, you just got to laugh. You know, you got to laugh. It's funny. It really, to me, I think it's fucking funny. I think it's a joke. I think it's a huge laugh. You know, that someone with such talent can also sound like someone with such a disgusting penchant for toilet humour. It's really amazing to think that someone with such talent could resort to toilet humour of that nature. Or, you know, shit in your bed until it bursts is another one he wrote to his female relative. You know, but you can still, you know, it's still, he's an amazing composer, folks. Mozart's an amazing composer, don't get me wrong. But sometimes people aren't what you expect them to be. They often exhibit things that are not so what you'd expect of them. You got to get, it's maybe this is a good thing, because maybe it'll teach people not to worship their idols. Or should I say, not to worship celebrity or to worship fame, because that famous person could have a dark secret lying dormant until it finally gets out in the history books. You can't, you know, you got to accept that these people are not perfect. You know, you might want to think they're fucking perfect, but they're not. They're far from it. And you got to accept that, folks, that celebrities, and even talented celebrities, often do have dark secrets like this. You just don't know until you find out. Maybe when they die. I don't know whether he kept this a secret. I don't know if this shit got out when he was still living, but basically, it's amazing to think that someone with such talent could partake in such childish, puerile, joking humour. But basically this guy did. He did. Mozart, of all people. he made toilet humour. But that's the thing, you know, you just don't know until whatever. It's just amazing to think that, you know, that this could happen, you know, if you're not, but you know, you got to believe it, because it's human. It shows that the person's still a human with all these flaws and all these unwanted traits. You know, it shows that he's not a fucking superhero. He's not, you know, he's not a superhero, you know, folks. Just because he wrote good music and he was brilliant doesn't make him a fucking god or something. He's not a god. So this may be a good way of teaching people to not worship celebrities, to not worship famous people, however talented, however brilliant they are, to not worship them. You know, to just accept that they're human and they've got traits that may not always be appealing to the elite, this is what the kinds of people that normally listen to this kind of music would be elitists, rich people who are just so stiff and stuffy and fucking fuddy-duddies, you know, fuddy-duddies and conservatives, people that are too afraid of progress. They listen to this stuff. There's nothing wrong, of course, there's nothing wrong with the music, but there is something wrong with being a little bit too conservative and too stuck up and stuffy. And maybe this kind of revelation could maybe wake up these stiff and stuffy establishment type people, and maybe show them that Mozart isn't as stiff and stuffy and conservative as they'd like to think for their own self. So, you know, there's just toilet humour. I like toilet humour, folks. I really find it amusing. Not so much the really gross, stuff, but I do like a bit of toilet humour. I do find it kind of amusing. So yeah, I find this revelation on Mozart particularly funny. I know the rich conservative types would be absolutely horrified. I don't know what they would think of their Herr Mozart once they find out that he's been making scatological letters to one of his relatives back then, and writing a couple of canons. I think that's what they're called, canons, also with scatological lyrics. So yeah, I don't know what a canon exactly is. I can't explain it. I think I know what it is, but yeah, I'm not an expert. Anyway, that's an interesting demo. I think now we can call this scat humour demo quits.